Hello everyone, welcome back to Learner's Manual, and this is your Venkat. And today in our Java tutorial we will be learning about type conversion, or even we can call it as typecasting. So by now I guess you know about what are keywords, variables, identifiers, operators and data types. If not, I will be attaching a link in our description. Just go through those videos and you will come to know what are variables, identifiers and so on. So in this, by now you will now understand the compatibility between data types. Okay, consider that you have two vessels of different sizes. If you fill the small vessel completely with water and pour this water into the large vessel like this you are filled completely, and if you pour this into the large vessel, the water easily gets transferred. You guys know that the water will be just half full like this. See here, it's just half full and it gets easily transferred. So in the same case, if you try to do the same thing by pouring all the water from large vessel to small vessel, the water overflows. See, so this is the large vessel which you have fully filled. If you transfer the water into this, then you will see the water is overflowing. See, the water is overflowing. Similar to this, a variable will not be able to store a value if the value is more than the capacity of data type of the variable. Like, see, now we are getting into type conversion. Whenever any operation is performed containing different data types, the data type of result is the largest data type in the expression. Like, if there are two variables like integer, and I am taking as you need to give a name to it, so I am taking int v plus float v. Okay, here just an example, integer is smaller data type and float is larger data type, so the result will be float only. You will get the result as float value. The answer will be in float. So when you assign the value of one data type to another, or when you perform operation on two operands, their data types must be compatible with each other. The data types are not compatible like this. These are not compatible. Then the data type of an operand needs to be converted. See, integer and float are not the same data type, so that this needs to be converted. This is called as type conversion, or even you can call it as typecasting. See, for example, this integer variable and float variable will be getting the value as float value, or take it as this, like int var long var plus double var. The end result will be double value. See, this will be the result, because double is the largest data type where you can store large number of values than compared to integer and long. So like this, take this. There are two types of typecasting or type conversion. One is primitive typecasting and another one is non-primitive typecasting. In this video we will be seeing about primitive typecasting. In the next coming video we will be seeing about non-primitive typecasting. Okay, so let's get into it. In the primitive type there are two types. One is implicit and the other one is explicit. Okay, and implicit is also called as data widening. This is also called as data widening. Okay, and the next one is explicit, which is called as data narrowing. Okay, data narrowing. So under implicit type, see, this implicit type is also called as widening conversion. When the value of data type with smaller range, see, I said right, integer, it is a smaller range, is assigned to a variable of a compatible data type with a larger range. See, float is the larger range, the integer is less than float. Okay, when two variables of different data types are involved in an expression, the value of smaller range, so this is converted, int is converted into float, larger data type, and then the operation is performed. So your result will be a float value. I will show you the example of it, then you will come to know how this implicit type works, and then you can understand it easily. So in Java, implicit conversion happens as depicted in the diagram below. For example, if a short variable is assigned, like short is less than int, okay, so short is less than int. So if you add these two, the end result will be of int. Then if you add long and int, and then the end result will be of long. If you add the with float, then the end result will be of float. Or if you add with double, the end result will be of double. So equal to double. So this is what has been described in this diagram. Like byte is the shortest value, like byte plus short, you will get the value as short. See, byte and short you can add, and short and int you can add, even character also you can add. For example, if I use C, int C, capital C, then you will get the value not C, you won't get C, but instead you will get the ASCII value of C. Okay, the ASCII value of C will be uh, given as the result of integer. I will even show you this int C for character by converting character into int. Okay, so like then int to long, long to float, float to double. This is the process. Okay, and the next is explicit type. Explicit conversion is used when you want to assign a value of larger range data type to a smaller range data type. Like you want to, like double is the larger data type which you want to assign the value of double to. Let us take int or float, whatever it is, which is smaller, the smaller data type than double. Okay, in that case we use explicit type. There is a drawback in this explicit type, in which you can't get the accurate value, like there will be a data loss. A drawback of explicit data type is there will be a data loss of data will be here. So this conversion is not done by the compiler implicitly, means this won't be done automatically. We have to say to the compiler that yes, we are performing from double to int, do please convert it, like that way. And I will be showing you the example of this also in our Eclipse, so you will get a better understanding. And as mentioned, there will be a loss of data in some cases. Hence, programmer has to be cautious about such conversions. Who is a programmer? You are a programmer. I am a programmer. So in that cases, you have to be careful. So, and this is also called as narrowing. I said it right. Data narrowing, narrowing conversion, they are all same. So okay, now let me open Eclipse, and let me give you some examples of it so you will get a better understanding. So now I am opening Eclipse IDE, click on launch. So here I have already created a class for typecasting. So but if you want to know how I created, just I went into control structures and I clicked on SRC and I created a package for casting. You can create package by right clicking and new, and there is something called as package, and inside that package, after creating, just click on control N. Then you will open a select wizard for a class, and after opening class, just create a class name and click on OK. If you want to click on public static void main, just public static void main will be over here. Just click on public static void main and click on finish, then you will create a class. So under this, now I am going to show how it will work implicitly. Okay, so now I am typing, let's take int I is equal to 10. Okay, um, 10. Okay, and semicolon. Next, just a higher data type we need to take, like let's take after int there is something called as double. Okay, double j is equal to I, semicolon. Now we are going to print it. Sys out is a shortcut, control space. Now let's print j. Okay, so control s to save it. Now I am running it. Now you will see 10.0. So as you know that double is a decimal data type. So to print while printing decimal data type, now you are getting dot zero. Means now it has been converted from int to double implicitly. Implicitly means automatically in the main terms. So you no need to say to the compiler that you need to convert it from integer to double, because it's converting it from smaller data type to larger data type. So there won't be any overflow, and it's actually capable of handling double value of int. So int is a smaller data type, right? So double can handle it. Double can have enough space to carry int I is equal to 10. So there won't be any problem in doing it. So I said, right, even we can see for character. So let's see, like I'm cancelling this, enter character C is equal to, let's mention capital C. Okay, now I is equal to C. Okay, so you guys say to me what will be the output. Okay, it's I, right? I. See, now I have saved it. You might be thinking that you will get the value C like this. There is no error, see, there is no error showing here, but you won't get the value as C. But there are something called as ASCII values. Something called as ASCII values. Now you'll get the value, ASCII value of C. See, I am running it. Control S. See, 67. 67 is the ASCII value of C. Like 65 is the ASCII value of A. So now I'm printing A. Control S. See, 65. You're getting 65. The answer is 65 because ASCII value of A is 65. Okay, now let's run it implicitly is over. Now let's run it explicitly. Explicitly is not automatic. We have to say to the compiler that we know that it's a larger data type and we are just converting the larger data type into the smaller data type. Okay, I guess you got my point. Like let's see. Now if you're thinking like this, int I is equal to let's take 1200, and byte, I am converting int into byte. Okay, int is a larger data type over here and byte is a smaller data type. Like byte b is equal to, so you guys might think if I type I, sys out control space I. Okay, I am just making comments, this is comments. Okay, so you might be thinking, now we see there, it's showing already showing type mismatch, cannot convert from int to byte. So you can't convert from int to byte because there's a type mismatch. You will get here add cast to byte. See, if you add cast to byte or change type of b to int or change type of I to byte, see, it's either asking you change either integer to byte or byte to integer or add cast. Add cast is nothing but our typecasting or type conversion, whatever you want to say it, either typecasting or type conversion. So if I click on this, see now saying byte b, see it's now b, see it added by default. By clicking on that, it now it's we are saying to the compiler, I know it's a byte. By typing byte it in the parenthesis, whichever you're going to use here, you should say to the compiler by saying within the parenthesis, and if you enter the integer value, then you won't get any error, but you might get errors used while runtime. These are called runtime errors. You might get a lot of runtime errors. There is a possibility because byte can't hold 1200, right? So now I am running it. See, you will get a different output. See, control yes to save it. And I am running it now. See, you are getting minus 80. You are not getting 1200. You know why you are getting minus 80? No, you can't predict it. In this, the output is unpredictable. So in this you will get a negative data or an invalid data. So mostly you will be getting invalid data if the type which is used here is a larger data type. If I use 128 or 127, you will get the value because integer byte is 127, right? Now I am using 128. See, control S. So you are getting minus 128 because 127 is the largest value that can hold in byte. Its ranges are like minus 128 to 127, right? So you can't hold more than that. So this is about typecasting of primitive data types or primitive typecasting. So in the next video we will be seeing about non-primitive typecasting or non-primitive casting or non-primitive conversion. Okay, let's catch up at next video. Until then, take care, goodbye. So if you want, you can subscribe to my channel and then you can click on that bell icon if you want to get notifications whenever I post a video. So do subscribe and watch these videos so you can learn Java. Take care, goodbye.